Their chair is unable to be here this evening, so I'm going to be chairing the meeting, and I call us to order at 2:07. And the first order of business is to review and approve the minutes of the meeting of June 16th, 2014.
I move the minutes be approved as circulated.
I second.
It has been moved and seconded they be approved as circulated. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. And
Aye.
raise your hand. Aye. Those opposed? Passes 4-0. Resident and citizen participation. Would you ladies like to introduce yourselves? And no? Okay.
All right, yes, I will.
I read lips sometimes, too.
Joanne Williams, resident and president of the association here at Melrose.
I'm Heather Lane, and I'm just a tenant.
Well, that's okay. Being just enough.
Not just a tenant.
No.
No. Did you have anything in particular you'd like to discuss with us, or did you want to just observe?
Well, I haven't heard any news in a while, so I thought I'd love to hear how things are going on the new site, the old site, whatever else is going
Okay.
on.
Well,
The marijuana policy
That's one of the
adoption,
items
that's
on
one
our
of the
agenda
items, I saw
tonight.
that, and no smoking. Is that still an agenda item?
I'm not sure we have it on the.
Yeah, not for
Oh,
Melrose
okay.
agenda.
Okay, not Melrose.
No.
We're still not worrying about that.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
yeah, worrying about it. In terms of what's going on with Red Clover and Melrose, there is a memo going out to all the residents. It was getting delivered today.
today, yeah.
On one side, it talks about the planning that we're going to be doing for Melrose Terrace reuse, and on the other is a little update on Red Clover.
Okay.
So,
Timetable has not changed. We're still,
no, the timetable is pretty much the same. It's only shifted a little bit. We're still looking at January of 2016 for occupancy. That's what we're still aiming for that. We've gotten all our funding, and we're starting the Act 250 permit process. So there just hasn't been a lot publicly to say. In the note that you will be getting, if you didn't get it, I note that there probably will be changes to the site plan as a result of Act 250. There almost always are changes. So far, the changes have been, they've been small, but once we have a final plan that's going to be the plan that 250 is looking at, then we'll bring it back and have a resident meeting. So far, the changes, we've cut back some of the paving areas. I mean, it's been stuff like that. It's very technical, regulatory things.
we're not worrying about what color the bathroom is or
No.
any of that stuff.
No.
We're not here to ask any of those questions.
Nope. No, we haven't even got there
Either.
at all. We're
Very
still
good.
talking about the site plan
Mhm.
and how the water's going to drain off and all of that good stuff. In terms of Melrose, it is sort of exciting. We're starting tonight and today with this note to the residents, a public solicitation, a community solicitation of ideas for the possible
loved that
reuse
memo.
of
I
Melrose.
loved that memo.
So
It's wonderful.
it's anything, any idea, it doesn't matter. We want people to give it to us. We've talked to the Brattleboro folks, and they're going to put a site up for us so people can go there.
Mhm.
I'm going to be on the radio this week. We've sent press releases to the Reformer and the Commons, and I think both of them are going to follow up. So it's like there's no bad idea. We want everybody's idea, everything.
Well, the biggest surprise is that the world out there in our very town, so many people have never set foot in here. They don't have any
Well, they don't
idea what they're
realize
going to
it
lose.
exists.
They don't know how it's going to, what else to think of it or how to think of it. we've been working on a flea market or an event to invite the public to come and see this place. Give them a fair or something in the spring. Some reason to come. They should see what's here. It's really so special. And if you want real information, they should familiarize themselves. So I'm so happy that you're putting this public stuff out there. Because
Well, one of the things we're doing is we're going to encourage people to drive through. Drive through Melrose.
Yes.
Look
Yes.
at it. Look at the river. We're not giving people a map. We're just saying, drive through. Look at it.
Yeah.
Give us your ideas. What do you, when you drive through and you think about Melrose, and we had over 200 unrepeated volunteers here after the storm. They know what it looked
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
What do you think? You know, so I'm hoping, we're very hopeful that will encourage people to come and look at Melrose.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, sort of, there really is no sort of far out crazy idea.
I'd like to suggest right now, if the town will permit, some cutting of the trees so that as you drive up Route 9, the housing authority sign is visible. You really have to come on
Oh,
it
yeah.
before
I
you
think
do.
we can, I
Yeah.
think we can just ask
Mhm.
Steve Barrett if we can
But
just trim the
because
tree
it's been
around.
getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just wondered what, or has the Historical Society gotten involved, or do they have any suggestions coming from them?
We haven't gotten any from formally or even informally from the Brattleboro Historical Society. Jeanette White, who's in our office and is working on the planning, the reuse planning, spent a lot of time with them, and they were very, very helpful in getting us old site maps and old photos. And we have talked to the state historic preservation folks about Melrose, and there is concern from a historic preservation standpoint about Melrose buildings. And that's one of the reasons that, so I can get to that. First, we're going to have this public solicitation of ideas. No idea too small, no idea too wacky. And then in September, we're going to bring together a group of folks that are the technical regulatory funding people and put them all in the same room and have a discussion about what really can be done with this property.
Yeah.
We'll have all of the community ideas, and my goal on that is I want to get 100. I want to get 100 unduplicated ideas. I would love it. I would love to be able to send them,
Yeah.
you know, the laws and the floodway stuff and all that technical stuff, and then 100 ideas from the community as a place to start. You know. So we'll bring this group together, and it's a select group because we need those people. They're historic preservation, they're the flood management people, they're the water resources folks. They're the people that say, yes, you can do this, or no, you cannot do this. They're really, and that's what we need to bring those people together, the people that fund these kinds of projects. We're bringing private bankers in, we're bringing public funders. So bring those, all those folks together for a day to really start wrestling with, here are the ideas, here's what it looks like. From your standpoint, can we do this? You know, we know, for example, that all except one building is 3 feet under base flood elevation. So we know from a very technical standpoint, under the flood mitigation rules of the federal government, these buildings should not be here. We know that. Okay, so
But they are, so.
So what? And you go from there. And we know Historic Preservation wants to see many, if not most, except the 6 right along the brook, preserved. We also know that there are other very strong opinions about having this turned into a flood mitigation area, which would mean that most of the buildings would be removed. So we just know that there are all these conflicting rules and conflicting thoughts, and there's a lot of very complex, overlayered technical issues, funding issues, and regulatory issues, and we need to get those people in the room so that it's not the people from Housing Vermont and the Brattleboro Housing Authority sort of doing this sort of silly shuttle diplomacy between state departments and the town and everybody else.
Yeah.
The other thing is that a very good piece of this is that the town of Brattleboro and the Housing Authority are working very much hand in hand on this project. And this really is a project of the Housing Authority and the town, and the West Brattleboro Association is a co-sponsor. But we have started and will continue to work very, very closely with the town, because the implications of the future Melrose are very significant for both the Housing Authority and for the town. So we need to do this together. So that's where all of that is, and sort of the process that we've started, and I think it's sort of, I think it will be fun to have this, give us your ideas. One of the places I have not called yet, but I do want to get hold of the Strolling of the Heifers folks and see if there's any connection down there, anything they could put up a suggestion box, or even a yellow pad that just says, write down your ideas, something. I've got to talk to them. I haven't called Orly yet, but I want to talk to them about sort of using their location. So I think it'll be a lot of fun to get all these ideas. And we're open.
We have a few we can share. We'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll send them to you.
Anyway, email.
Well, I really like the fact that you are not starting out with, we can't do this and we can't do that. And the idea of having 100 different suggestions is just wonderful.
Exciting.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
And let all the departments who have their own ideas, what they want, look at the ideas
Yes.
and let them shoot them down, or put them and let them fight it out amongst themselves.
Yeah.
You got it.
Let them fire on each other.
You got it.
Circular fire squad.
I really don't want to be in the middle of this anymore.
No.
And we know what some of the rules are. We can read the federal code of regulations, and we know all of that. But, yeah, instead of saying no first, let's invite the ideas without any really no filters. This really is, and I think it'll be fun. It's sort of an open invitation for community brainstorm.
Yeah.
Gotta have some kind of a competition.
Well, I don't know, Tom. How
The
could you
winner gets an
evaluate?
all-expenses paid trip to West Brattleboro.
How could you, I don't want to be on it. I don't want to judge it.
Yeah. Well, maybe you should come up with a prize for the most outlandish suggestion.
That opens up a can of
Yeah,
worms.
see?
Yes.
So that's where we are. The memos were going out today for the residents, and then we'll start a bit of a public awareness campaign. And it's really great that Brattleboro is really on board, and they're going to have a little spot for us. And then they're going to, the folks that run that said they periodically put a reminder, hey, get your ideas in. I think we have end of August. We need to have this closed up so that we can get all of these ideas together to send to the technical regulatory group of people that
it would be nice if we come up with a tagline, like, what to do about Melrose. And
Yeah.
just have that and use that, over, so people could, start them thinking very simply about it and just be able to use that one little statement without having to explain it all the time. Like, there was one in the packet.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think what we're calling it is the future of Melrose Terrace.
Okay. Okay.
And we're inviting people to give us their ideas
Yeah.
and thoughts on the future of Melrose Terrace. Not planning, not any, no
Yeah.
qualifiers, just.
Have the neighbors behind on Melrose Street been included in any of this, or?
Not specifically, but they will be, obviously, through the public
Okay.
media and.
Okay,
and
very
I'm
good.
sure they'll
Great.
have some thoughts.
Okay, that was our biggest concern, is there any news or anything? The rumors are incredible.
Oh, yeah.
They just
I heard,
create
yeah.
themselves, and I just heard the other day, true authorities here, when I say, wait, to get that information, I remember, he said to her, and they said 4 years is now what's being passed. We got 4 years, don't worry. I'm saying, wait, when did that happen? Wait a second, what did I miss? No, there's nothing to that, but it's amazing how much people will attach to that because they like it to be. That's part of it, is wishful thinking, but it's good to remind them we're still right on board.
No, we're still 2016.
And I get the calls because I do.
Right.
And then I say, really honestly, they mean it when they say nothing has changed. So, good.
Well, these projects like this continuously have these times when there's really, it doesn't appear that a lot is going on, but there's, trust me, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But it's just not something,
Visible.
it's not visible and it's not,
It's not-
we could invite the residents to a public meeting and, we wouldn't really have anything to show you, and we really wouldn't have anything to say other than, do you want to read the draft Act 250 permit, which is
Yeah.
like 50 pages long. It's technical, boring stuff. And we'd
It's
be
not
happy.
like they're from like Delhi, what's going on there?
Yeah,
They're
really.
building it.
They're tearing it down. They're going
And
to
they're
building the
rebuilding.
building.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're putting
great
the
big
building up.
building.
Unbelievable.
And the old building's the new parking lot, basically.
Well, that's,
No, that's a tiny piece of land that building's on.
that's right, it'll be a tiny parking lot that still creates a
Still
problem.
has people backing out. on
Yeah,
the
yeah, it'll
That's
still be a
not a
problem.
good idea.
That's their problem.
Yeah.
We have enough of our
For
own.
that problem, it used to be my problem. But
Yeah.
no, it's not my problem anymore. And
Yeah.
for that, I would encourage you to discuss it with the town planning office.
Yeah. It's happening, so there
Well,
it is.
moving right along,
So,
okay? Staff reports review, starting with the property manager, Heidi's property manager monthly update on rose colored, whatever. I assume everybody's had a chance to review it. I think it's instructive that we still are quoting waiting times of 2 to 5 years for people who
Yeah.
would like to acquire an apartment here, or a tenancy here. By here, I mean anywhere within the system. Any questions or observations?
Certainly a lot of activity moving in
Yes.
and moving here,
Yes.
and
mhm.
transfers.
Heidi has been busy, as well as the rest of us have. We also have the rent collection performance report on the white paper.
I would say congratulations with Melrose Terrace
Yeah.
with 100% payment.
Yes.
Real job.
It's nice when the money comes in on time, because it certainly goes out on time.
Yeah, yeah.
Any other questions or observations? Next on the agenda, review and approve change in the ACOP, which is the policy for use of cannabis for symptom relief. And we received a copy in our minutes and a memorandum that was not appended, but right next to it, about which reiterates for us what the HUD position is and discusses how it's been handled in Seattle Housing Authority, because they also live in a state where it's now a prescriptable substance. So, we've all had a chance to read it. Are there any questions, comments?
I think it's a good policy. I think it's fair, and, there are things that I would love changed, but HUD says we can't, so. But basically what it says is that people who are already in resident and these are grandfathered under that, in the non-smoking campuses, which is Samuel Elliott and Hayes Court, that they cannot smoke any cannabis, but
You can't smoke anything.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
right,
done
right,
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 they
before,
can't.
that they can get whatever
and
other
other
forms there are.
forms and
Okay.
everything like that. So it would just be new tenants who wouldn't be able to move in.
Would you ask that question on like when they apply? Is that like unconstitutional?
No, we can ask it.
So unless there's any more discussion, I make a motion to accept the.
So move it and second it. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, passes 4-0.
If I could, Heather, what we would do instead of just asking outright is that we would make this policy well-known. It probably will go into the packet of information given to people when they're considering moving into public housing. And we would tell them very clearly that this is not prohibited or not accepted in public housing because it's a federally funded program, and explain that to people. Instead of just asking them out, we would just say, here's the rule, and you really have to follow it because we have to follow it.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, and it's been requested that we approve a $267.93 write-off at Samuel Elliott Apartments, the amount owed by a now deceased former tenant. What is your pleasure?
I understand we have much since we collected it.
That's probably true.
I move we accept the write-off.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the write-off in the amount of $267.93. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And it passes 4-0.
Who was the seconder?
Aye. Okay, program managers, FFS, FSS, PH, HCV, resident coordinator, and SASH coordinator. And they come on a variety of colors. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to review them. Under that would also, well, I guess Jack's really comes under property managers, but we can look at that. Jack Mahoney, the redevelopment manager's report, we can look at that under this section as well. We shan't read these to you ladies.
That's all right, we're gonna.
They run on
excuse
to a
ourselves.
number of words.
We don't, but did you have something you wanted to
It's
say?
not,
I would.
You're more than welcome to stay.
Right.
Did you have another question?
it's just so, it was just about whether the garages were going to be removed on Canal Street, the existing buildings behind the pizza.
On that lot that we're purchasing, yes. All those buildings are
Simple
taken.
question.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yes. No,
Okay.
They will be taken down. And so will the semis and all that other stuff.
And it's gonna be really pretty.
It will not look the way that.
I think what you were saying about people starting the rumors and everything is once, it's brought back, when it's finalized and people see what they're gonna be moving into, I think they'll be really excited.
I've been on that, I've stood back there, I've walked the board, I've looked around, I've tried to imagine, okay, now I'm up higher, so yep, okay, I see, it's a great spot.
And we're going to be doing a lot of hazard waste mitigation and improvement on the site.
And once they can walk over to Walgreens or walk over to Price Chopper or get pizza or whatever, I mean, without having to, have a car, I think they'll find that.
A lot of people will be happy.
Actually,
Yeah.
2
Plus
farms.
cars.
Yeah.
Under the building.
3, yeah.
That's the winner right there, really, because so many people need help with shoveling and clearing and all that. That's the one thing they've all said, well, at least we'll have that. And it starts with, that, and that's a big plus.
It
And
is,
then, yes, walking everywhere. The concern is Fairgrounds Road. How do we get out Fairgrounds Road?
Fairground Road is really only a problem
During
for
school
the
mornings.
hour and a half
Yeah.
of
Ingress
school
and
and the
egress.
hour and a half
Yeah.
when school lets out. And frankly, having talked to people that drive here,
Mhm.
they do it already because of Academy School. They already time
Tricky getting out of here.
Let me put it this way.
they
Yeah.
time their trips around that,
Yeah.
as do
Yeah.
a lot of the caregivers and people who come here. So we're like,
Yeah.
they already know how to
they already
handle a
know.
school.
Mhm.
I live in the neighborhood.
Mhm.
I go out Fairground frequently in my vehicle. It is 10 times easier to leave Fairview than it is to go up this road.
Mhm. Mhm.
A, there's a traffic light. B, people tend to drive a little on the fast side up here. And you've got a long ways to go if you're turning left.
Yeah.
None of those problems on Fairground Road.
Yeah.
So, just in passing.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Great,
all.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks. Nice to see
Get
you
your
all.
good ideas coming.
Okay.
Okay. FSS
I'll be coming.
monthly report from Lucy.
I just want to say I love reading this report.
I do.
And you always feel better after reading what I've heard.
Would you touch on your second first? And bonus from you. Thank you.
Joanne?
Yeah, they really, the reports really reflect the authors, don't they?
Yeah.
The beach trip was not on Wednesday, it was on Thursday because it actually was raining out there. It was very successful, went off really well. Was a great time was had by all. It was very well.
And that was the 56 people, that's really nice.
Mm,
Yes.
Yeah.
a major undertaking. as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, it is. It is.
And who is covering Claudia's duties now? Is she gone already? Or
Claudia has left, and right now Lucy is
Doing
covering. Yeah, she's going to cover both while we're working on some things with HUD.
We have a report from SASH. There's times I wonder if I shouldn't sign up for some of their programs.
They're really doing great,
Yeah.
great work. And Christine's presentation to the blueprint, she's very modest, was really very, very well received, and a lot of good questions, and people actually were sort of streaming in to hear it. They were really interested, and she did just a great job.
Well, she's doing a great job with SASH,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. And our new RN, our wellness nurse, Willow Prince, is doing great. And
Good.
while people were very sorry to see Lisa go, Willow was just come right in and put everybody at ease, and it's really going really well.
And we, under property redevelopment manager, I guess, we can look at the property redevelopment manager's report. Thought I missed it.
Tom will, well, first there's the Elliott. We've broken the bad news to everybody that the sliding doors are not going to be replaced this summer. That's pretty clear. And we're still fighting the good fight over what to replace them with. There is Efficiency Vermont, the Vermont Efficiency Investment Corporation has now formed a non-profit energy services corporation, which I'm really, really happy about because, as you know, we had the contract that we were about to enter into with the for-profit entity, and I was getting more and more concerned about how much money they were making and how much money we kept getting cut in the deal. So a nonprofit ESCO is really going to be great, and we're very excited about it. I think somebody from there is coming to meet with Mary and I and talk about how we can use their services in our properties. And they've already been brought into Red Clover. So we're talking about, and I thought Tom would be thrilled to see geothermal. We've got all kinds of things on the
Glad to see somebody
table.
looking at it.
So, yeah, it's very exciting, and there's just a lot of investigation going on about the energy alternatives for that building, and then what we can do with more Ledgewood and SEA.
One step at a time. One step at a time.
Oh, yes. We've got plenty of projects.
Okay, I believe that brings us to the green sheet and all the checks. Any questions or? I'm sure Hannah has none, she's signed them.
Is that part of it?
Well, the
Thank you
better
for
part,
doing that
the better
last.
part.
And we didn't get a report from David this month?
We didn't.
Okay, I just realized.
Pretty quiet, and he was away on vacation for the deal with it.
You probably needed it after
Yeah.
all these.
Yes.
He did.
I find it interesting this month, we paid the town of Brattleboro more than we paid Green Mountain Power.
We paid our 500.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we paid our taxes. I suspect.
Okay. Next on the agenda, Red Clover comments. Update on project status. I think we've kind of had most of that.
Yeah.
Reiterate the meeting on July 7th.
We had a very good meeting with the Planning Commission, and they approved the plan unit development, so that's going forward. We're on the agenda for August
5th.
5th,
I was just looking at my calendar.
with the select board to talk about Red Clover Commons plan unit development. And yes, it's 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock,
6 o'clock on the 5th of August.
a conflicting meeting.
So I don't, yeah, I'll let you know where we are on the agenda as soon as we get there. I had a nice meeting on Friday with the acting town manager and the town planner to talk about Red Clover and Melrose, and we're really going to try very hard to keep the two very separate. Red Clover is on the 5th, and that's what we're talking about, and then we may come back in 2 weeks and talk about the Melrose project. But we're going to try as hard as we can to keep them very separate. So Mary and Jack represented us at BHCB, and we got our award. Good job. And we have made our comments to the Special Application Center. I have to check in with our lawyer to see what that is. And we've discussed the community planning comments. So, forward continues on.
Our work session calls for review of the monthly check listing, which we've already done. Check signing, August is Tom, September is Bill, and we have a willing victim for October.
Well, I was going to suggest, particularly depending on how Bill is doing, I would, September works better for me than October.
Okay, so why don't we switch you and Bill?
That would work.
That's probably not a bad idea.
Well, September he was having surgery, wasn't he?
Right.
He's not
Yeah.
going to have,
Okay.
I don't believe he's going to
Okay.
have it now.
And so put me down for October, that's
Oh, okay,
my time.
okay.
Okay.
So Janet, you'll do September and
Yes.
Chris will do October. Okay, that's great. Really appreciate that.
Right now, it's clear. I want to go on vacation, but I don't know if we'll be able to, so I like October vacations.
Well, I have 2 symphonies, Boston Symphony tickets. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's understandable.
and I've just been looking at the rest of the year. And there are several Mondays that I'm going to be on my way to New York City for the opera on Tuesday, rather than being able to be here. So
Well,
I'd
that's
like
a
to
shame.
explore
Such a shame.
the possibility of either giving you my comments beforehand or telephone.
Sure. Sure.
Okay, does anybody have any other non-executive session matters to discuss?
I have one.
Okay.
Actually, I should hand out the smoke-free newsletter that did not get in the packet. I apologize for that. I think I had mentioned that I had signed us up to be testers for a evaluation accreditation system that's being developed for housing authorities. And they would like to know some October dates that would work for us. And I got back to them and said, well, our board meets October 20th. Could you come those 2 days, Monday and Tuesday? So I just wanted to run October, well, it's a long way out, but very booked.
Well, that's one of actually.
Is that one of yours?
Yes, October,
Oh, no.
November, and December. Oh, the opera is conflicting.
Okay.
And I have a birthday in the family on the 20th.
On the 20th. So we may need to reschedule that. Okay. So why don't I see about, I'll email you all and see about rescheduling the October meeting, and then I can get back to them and have them come whenever that meeting is scheduled. Because I think if it's going to be on governance, then they ought to meet with the board. And I thought, well, it would be easier to just do it during the regular meeting than to try to get you all to get into the schedule for another meeting that we planned. So, okay. All right, so I will do that. I'll just get an email going and reschedule October, because that date is not going to work. Good.
Okay.
That was all I had.
Anything else? If not, I'd entertain a motion when we enter executive session to discuss pending litigation.
So
Is there a second? Moved and seconded by Chris. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?